Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to our early afternoon update. I'm Victoria Holmes here in the digital studio. State health officials are urging people in North Carolina to get flu vaccinations as flu season approaches in the middle of the COVID pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends a flu vaccine for everyone 6 months and older. Getting the vaccine can make illness milder and reduce the risk of more serious outcomes. That's important for people at higher risk of complications, including the elderly, children younger than 5, pregnant women, and people with conditions like asthma, diabetes, and heart disease or obesity. Some of those same groups are also at a high risk of complications from COVID-19. You can visit our website to find locations for vaccines. The city of Louisville is expected to announce a settlement in the wrongful death lawsuit filed by the family of Brianna Taylor. She's a black woman shot and killed by police in her Louisville apartment in March. The Courier-Journal newspaper is reporting the settlement will be accompanied by promises of police reforms in the city, including a requirement that commanders approve search warrants before they are put to a judge. On March 13, police officers shot Taylor, a 26-year-old emergency medical technician, while serving a no-knock narcotics search warrant at her home as part of a drug investigation. Officers broke down the door and were met with gunfire from Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. Walker says he thought he was defending against a home invasion. One of the officers was shot in the leg. Jonathan Mattingly and 2 other officers, Miles Cosgrove and Brent Hickinson, were placed on administrative reassignment after the shooting, and Hickinson was later fired. Walker was initially charged, but those charges were later dropped. No drugs were found in the home. Kentucky's Attorney General is investigating the officers' actions, but no charges have been filed. The Associate Director of the U.S. Census Field Operations says the nation's population count is ahead of schedule, but experts worry that not everyone will be counted. Statistics on this year's census show rural communities and communities of color have low response rates. Last week, House Democrats revealed internal census documents suggesting there could be serious errors in this year's count because the Bureau is rushing the process. The census is also ending the count 1 month early, with the Bureau in charge cutting data counting by 2 months. Undercounting could cost some states billions of dollars in federal funding. As of now, the Bureau is asking everyone to fill out their census forms to make sure everyone is counted. When we come back, President Trump is planning to withdraw troops from Iraq. But first, a weather update from our meteorologist, Alex Wasilenko.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Alex Wasilenko, reporting from the First Alert Weather Center when I really want to be outside on this glorious Tuesday. We have lots of sunshine to talk about today in the wake of yesterday's cold front. That cold front is now stalling out down to our south, and it's providing a large shield to defend us from Hurricane Sally, which is likely going to make landfall sometime early Wednesday morning through the states of either Alabama or Mississippi. However, southeast Louisiana and the panhandle of Florida still in play at this time too, as we go into the overnight period and through early Wednesday morning across the southeast United States. Drier weather to be found here at home. However, those dismal conditions and life-threatening conditions will continue to ensue along the Gulf Coast as we kick off your Wednesday. Wednesday morning is when Hurricane Sally is officially forecast to wash ashore. We'll have to watch that forecast very closely because the storm system has been moving rather slowly over the last 24 hours. Nonetheless, once Sally works inland across the southeast United States, it will likely see an increased chance for shower and thunderstorm activity by late Wednesday night and especially Thursday and Friday. So do be sure to enjoy today and through the first half of tomorrow here in eastern North Carolina. As we head into Wednesday morning, that's when clouds will start to build, but the active weather should be able to hold off until late Wednesday morning into Wednesday afternoon. Do be sure to download that free First Alert weather app to track the tropics and that local forecast too. Speaking of your local forecast, it's looking cool today, below average if you will, with temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. At least it'll come with some drier weather, less humidity, and partial sunshine. As we go into Wednesday, clouds start to build and isolated showers and storms start to blossom for the second half of the day. By Thursday and Friday, that's when we'll really start to be dealing with the impacts in the leftover moisture from Hurricane Sally. It'll likely mean some heavy rainfall and thunderstorm activity at the very least here in eastern North Carolina to wrap up the work week. Grab the shades, head outdoors, and make the best of your Tuesday. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Alex Wasilenko.
Welcome back. President Trump plans to bring down the number of U.S. troops down to 3,000 by the end of the month. Our D.C. Bureau looks at the changes.
I want to withdraw our forces, but I want to do it responsibly.
South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says he supports President Trump's decision to scale back the number of American troops in Iraq.
You have other nations helping Iraq, not just us.
The plan would withdraw more than 2,000 troops from the region this month. President Trump campaigned on the promise of ending what he called endless wars.
I don't think any of us believe that we ought to be in wars for decades.
Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott also supports the drawdown and hopes more troops can return home from the Middle East in the future.
Iraq and other countries will figure out how to defend their democracies on their own.
Despite the support, one national security expert here in Washington says the drawdown comes with drawbacks.
The main concern is that he's just doing this to fulfill sort of a campaign pledge.
Brian Katulis with the Center for American Progress says removing forces can leave space for terrorist groups to move in.
The threat of ISIS or Daesh has actually resurged a bit. And in some ways, the withdrawal actually continues this process of opening the door to Iran.
Katulis says peace talks, like what Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is having with Taliban leaders and Afghan officials, is a better move in the long run. Pompeo is hopeful all troops can return from Afghanistan by spring 2021. Reporting in Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer.
Thank you for tuning in to our early afternoon update. I'm Victoria Holmes here in the digital studio.